Now, you may know Sean Parker as the co-founder of Napster, the first president of Facebook, and the force behind Spotify. But now the tech entrepreneur is looking to make his mark in the world of philanthropy, and he is committing $600 million to launch the Parker Foundation. Stephanie Ruhle sat down with Sean to find out how he plans to put his money to work.
We're focused largely on global public health, specifically malaria, life sciences, in particular an emerging field called cancer immunotherapy, which is leveraging the immune system to fight cancer. It's also the case that in order to maximize impact, I need to work on problems where, because of some novel insight, the problem is essentially hackable. There's some relatively short-term way of having a large impact that may not have been tried. So cancer is an interesting one in the sense that there's no lack of resources. Since Nixon declared the war on cancer, the U.S. government has spent hundreds of billions of dollars in this fight, over $4 billion a year just on NCI funding, plus countless billions of dollars spent by private donors. So it's not a resource issue, it's a resource allocation issue, it's a philosophy of science issue. It has to do with how those resources are utilized. I think there's a lot of large private foundations that stay away from cancer because they feel like they have nothing to offer. My involvement in the field of cancer started from a kind of insight that the immune system could play a role in both preventing and fighting cancer. And now we have two FDA-approved drugs, both of which have been incredibly successful in treating melanoma, and we're on the road to having a number of cell-based therapies that utilize your body's own T cells to fight cancer.
Is this all philanthropy for you, or as an investor, are you involved in medical research technology?
Well, we try to keep the two as separate as possible, and as I've become more involved...
But one could feed the other.
They could. And I mean, the idea of venture philanthropy is exciting and it's important. I think any investing that we did in the space would happen through the foundation and not individually.
Are you so involved, or do you feel like you're filling a void in terms of philanthropy, specifically in medical research, in part because NIH has lost so much funding?
So there's no question that there's been a huge historical hit to research and development in the U.S. because NIH funding has not been restored and has not continued, at the pace of inflation over the last decade or so. There's an organization I'm involved with called Act for NIH that's working specifically on this issue, and there's in fact a bill in front of Congress called 21st Century Cures, which hopefully will restore NIH funding to its previous levels. And those are both really important things. But I think fundamentally, cancer research is extremely well funded. There's a question about how effectively are those funds being utilized. I think that's the more important question in the case of cancer research.
That was Market Makers anchor Stephanie Ruhle speaking with Sean Parker about the launch of his foundation.